Now we have another young sister that's dealing with racism in school. So she's doing a presentation. You're going to hear her when she's going to describe what she was discussing. And as always, you have some white supremacist kid that was raised to be that way, just doing the things that they're taught from their homes. But let's roll the clip.
You don't like to think that racism is still here, but it is, and you don't feel like it's going to happen to you, but it did.
Kalia Hill is an 11th grader at Central Cabarrus High School. She was making a presentation about racism in English class and how the N-word is the most offensive racial slur.
My argument was that we were taken from our country and that our names were changed and that the N-word was used to degrade us of our worth. So the white student, he said go back, but he kind of whispered it like nobody was supposed to hear it. So everybody kind of stopped and looked at him, and we asked him to say it again, and he said, go back.
That student was suspended 5 days later for 1 day, according to the disciplinary note from the school.
It made me mad or upset how the administration and the school handled it, the fact that it took so long, the fact that it was such a light disciplinary action.
Kalia's mom says she reached out to the superintendent and other district leaders.
I would like for the school to get some type of diverse training for the staff members, the administrators, and then they can teach the children also. I want everyone to speak up. Stop being quiet about the situation. Racism exists. Hatred exists.
The Cabarrus County School District would not confirm what happened and never responded to how the district is addressing racism. We reached out to the student who was suspended and spoke with his dad over the phone. He said his son is receiving threats and wants this to die down. But Kalia says she wants to shed light on what happened.
I'm a cheerleader. I run track. I go out and I support the school. But in the meantime, I'm feeling this way inside, that I'm being looked upon as different when I'm like everybody else.
Now, the thing that she said toward the end, that she is like everybody else, and to just sit here and watch her the way she was saying that is a reality for black people in this country and any system that you live in that's under a white supremacist system. They treat non-white people, especially the black people, as extremely less than. Now, the empowering thing that we must do as black people is accept that. Not accept that you're less than, but accept that's the way they're going to look at you. Accept that they're not going to have love for you like that. They only care about themselves. And really, they don't care about themselves because they have their own children begging them to do gun control, to stop school shootings, and they're saying forget those children. I mean, that's basically how it is. So if you don't care about your own, then why you expect them to care about someone else? So we can't ever expect them to have love for us. But this is the thing, young sister, or anybody, or any one of them that tell you to go back to Africa, this is what you go tell them and say, first of all, even if I was to go back to Africa and I get there, you're there. Maybe not you, but your group is there. Because the way you're talking is Africa for Africans. That's what you're talking about. And that is not in existence at this point in time. But you know what? Tell them, I'll go back to Africa and tell the government to give me about $3 to $4 million when I go. And then I want you on the opposite plane with me. And I want you to get dropped off in the Caucasus Mountains. And then they can drop me off in Africa with my money, then I'll be good. And the reason why you need your money is because you built this place and you need something on your way out if you're going to go ahead and send you back. Now, if we can't stay, you shouldn't stay either, because you are not indigenous to North America at all. You're definitely not indigenous to Africa. And the Caucasus Mountains is where you come from, so go over there. That's all you got to tell them, just like that, because they can't argue with you at that point. Now, we as black people, we must get it in our thick skulls. We have to. Is that racism definitely exists. It's not going anywhere. It's not. We have to get off of the white Jesus version of Christianity that teach us to not fight back, teach us not to want to liberate ourselves. We got to get away from that, because our liberation, our empowerment, us opening our eyes will help us to deal with that. I don't like to see that sister just, down like that because of what that savage said, if you taught her to expect that from him, there's nothing he could say at that point. You won't be like, oh my God. See, we have to learn that this is what we're going to deal with, to expect that. So when they say it, like, it has no bearing on you because you know to expect that from people like that individual. You have to teach your children to expect the school not to discipline him. Just like we talked about, little Timmy and little Austin, they can go blow up bombs all over Austin or go shoot up schools, and they're troubled young people. They had issues in their life. They had challenges. You have to teach them this system in order for their sanity, because you don't teach it to them, they're going to go crazy. They're going to feel horrible about themselves. They can be depressed. It's important that we teach our kids about the system of white supremacy. And unfortunately, I know at times they don't want to listen to us, but we need to teach them early as possible before it gets to that point. Now, in life, we have to just accept that this is the country we live in, but it doesn't mean it has to break you down or you can't do nothing in life. Our only way to liberate ourselves is through us opening our eyes and understanding the system of racism and white supremacy, and then unifying with people that understand that within our community and want to liberate us and do for ourselves, because only doing for ourselves is the only way out. We can't look at no Democrat, no Republican. We can't look at no programs they can give us, anything. We are the key to our own freedom. And long as we put ourselves underneath the yoke of the Caucasian man who's controlling the system is the reason why we have the problems. When we have the power within ourselves to fix all of our issues, because as I stated before, if we created schools for our children to go to that was funded by the community, have great teachers there that want to give our kids a great education, then our children would not be dealing with savages that's saying things like that, because he was raised that way in his home to have a hatred for black people. I told you guys many times, when they're toddlers, they're taught to hate black people. When they're barely speaking words, they're taught that. You're not taught that. We know that. But that's what a lot of them do with their children. My thing is, prepare our children, prepare all of us with the system, accept it for what it is. Don't get your feelings hurt with any of this, because you just have to expect it. Just like you expect a dog to bark or a cat to meow, expect that. Just expect it. And then once you expect it, then you know how to navigate and deal with it. But let me know in the comments what you think about this, and are you preparing your children to deal with racism and white supremacy?